When determining if a miscellaneous expense is reimbursable, it's important to ask yourself if it is both business-related and if it is reasonable. Only actual, reasonable, and necessary business-related expenses will be reimbursed, and such expenses must be properly indicated and justified on the expense report. Some examples of reimbursable and business-related expenses include telephone calls, toll charges, internet connection fees, baggage transfer and storage expenses, and then supplies and materials. And then also some examples of some non-reimbursable and non-business related expenses include such things as speeding fines, parking tickets, laundry, entertainment such as theater tickets or in-room movies, or any other personal charges. Next, I'll discuss taxable travel. It's important to note that taxable travel is subject to tax withholding and W-2 reporting. And some examples of when taxable travel occurs are meal per diem amounts that are paid in excess of the rates allowed by the federal government GSA rates, meal allowances that are paid for non-overnight travel or day trips, mileage reimbursements in excess of the maximum federal rates, or improper designation of employees' official station, which we discussed earlier. And then next, some other miscellaneous items to note. Record retention. Agencies are required to retain documentation supporting travel and expense transactions for 6 years. Only online agencies are required to use the attachment feature in SFS to store documents for not only the supervisory review and approval process, but also for any future audit requests. If the agency is bulk load, the official record must be retained in a central location, such as the agency's finance office. Documentation should be with the agency and not with the traveler. Agencies should have a well-developed, documented procedure to ensure that documentation retains its integrity of the original, that it supports legitimate payments, and that it complies with relevant record retention requirements. And there's more on this in GFO section 13.3, record retention.
An update on banned travel. State-funded or state-sponsored travel to the state of Mississippi is currently banned under Executive Order number 156. Currently, there are no other states besides Mississippi that is banned from publicly funded travel. To update on a previous ban on similar travel to the states of Indiana and North Carolina under Executive Order 144 and 155, these are no longer in effect. Again, Mississippi is the only state that is banned from publicly funded travel at the moment.
And then next, some things to keep in mind when reviewing and approving travel-related expenses. We came up with the acronym BARN to help agencies with planning a travel event and to help determine expense appropriateness. So you can ask yourself if the travel expense is in the best interest of the state, if it is actual, if it is reasonable, and if it is necessary. And it's also important to discuss agency discretion, especially in the event of specific travel scenarios that do not have clear black and white criteria to support. We ask agencies to use their agency discretion when reviewing and approving travel-related expenses. And this is where the BARN method just mentioned is very useful. And it's also important to note that it should not be a broader interpretation of the current rules and guidelines.